Welcome to the TFO 2018 Bracketology. I am the TFO commish, the Raj, and tonight we're gonna break it down. The 2018 season has finally officially come to an end, and 20 of the 36 teams remain. In round one, we will have the wild card teams, all 8 of them, battle it out. And the winners of those matches will go on to face the number 1 seeds from their conferences. And then in round 2, you'll also have seed 2 and 3 going head to head. And then in round 3, we will have the conference championships. And then in round 4, we will have the bad and mad championships, ending with the TFO Terrible live at 16-Bit Bar in Columbus, Ohio, August 4th. It is going to be an epic. And by the way, that is a Saturday, which means you that will not be able to attend, I will try my best to have that up August 5th for your listening enjoyment. But today, what we're going to go over today is we're going to look at each conference, and I'm going to do a little bit of a mock, if you will. That way you guys can see what I think, who I think is going to make it through and be the champion of champions, the Terrible champion. So let's hit off this bracketology with the badass conference. So in the badass conference, we had the extra strength rape have the best record. They raped y'all. So they're number 1 seed. Number 2 and number 3 seeds are the TMNT Torturers and the AWA Maulers. Now that's an interesting concept there because the Maulers had a worse record than both the wildcard teams. But the Maulers were able to skirt in there on that division that didn't have a lot of victories. Speaking of the wild cards, we have the Waifu Warlords and the Venture Industries in round 1. This is a pretty stacked division here. I think the easy one here is going to be the Torturers against the Maulers, but the Maulers have definitely surprised this season. Hulk Hogan has had just a ton of rushing yards. I'm being told that he broke the rushing yard record for quarterbacks, 2,047 yards this season, and he also broke how many touchdowns a quarterback has run in. He got 25 this season, so don't count Hulk Hogan out. But if I had to go through here, Warlords versus Industries, I really like Venture Industries here. They've really surprised me throughout the season. They have a hell of a record, and they just missed out barely on winning their division. So I think the Waifu Warlords have had a roller coaster of love this season. If Shantae is feeling sexy, they might be able to get it done. But I think Venture Industry, they have a good defense. I think they're going to be able to come in there and do what they need to do. So I'm saying Industries is going on. So in round 2, we'll have the Torturers taking on the Maulers. And while I think Hulk Hogan's can some dance, some magic, especially against this TMNT team, that's what really makes this interesting to me, because the TMNT team had one of the worst defenses this year with yards against them. So I think the Maulers can try to expose them, but I think the Mauler defense just isn't good. So I think the Torturers are going to take that matchup. And then we got the Venture Industry taking on the Extra Strength Rape. I'm going to go with the Extra Strength Rape. The Bum has done an excellent job this season bringing together these horrible human beings to be on one team, to work for one solid goal. And, I think Donald Trump, especially being president of the United States now, he's really pushing this team to the limit. So I think Venture Industries, they're going to get stopped there by the rape, which will bring the badass championship, as far as I'm concerned, as the TMNT Torturers taking on the Extra Strength Rape. It is a VGV badass championship contest, and I'm saying the Turtles get it done. That's right. I think Rape will end up losing to the TMNT Torturers. Niemergut has some luck. It just gets sprinkled on him. And Rape, when they are on and they're great and amazing, they're just that. But I think the Torturers' offense is better than the Rapes, and I think the defense is better than the Rapes. So I got to give it to the Torturers. So that's my call. TMNT Torturers Badass Championship. All right. So now let's switch it on over to the Bad Guy Conference. And in the Bad Guy Conference, the number one seed was the DC Universe. And it's interesting because Overwatch is one of those wild cards. They were in the DC Universe division, and they had an amazing record. I believe their record was better than at least the Dixon Twats. Maybe not the Bank, because I think they had 11 wins, so I'm not sure. But still, winning your division is what gives you that first round bye, basically. So that's what really helps. If you get wild card, you gotta play week 1. That's the way it works here in TFO. So number two seed was the Bank, Spank Bank. So she could be the bad girl champion. Who knows? Whatever. And the mystery owner, Dicks and Twats, right there. And then the wild card matchup is the Greek Legends taking on Gibraltar's Overwatch. So how do I see this all playing out? Well, wild card weekend, I'm going to go with Overwatch here. And a big reason for this is Samara on defense with 9 interceptions, which tied for the lead for this year. And so Zeus, when he's on that Zeus juice, he gets aggressive. And I think he's just going to be throwing some lightning bolts a little wild. And that's my fear, and that's my worry. The Legends have done great this season. I'm a big Barry God Sanders fan. Everybody knows it. I don't really give two shits about the game of Overwatch, to be honest with you. But they're making it happen, I think. So I'm going to go with Overwatch. So that'll bring us to round 2 with the Spank Bank taking on the Dicks and Twats. And this is one of the most intriguing matchups of the playoffs as far as I'm concerned, because the Bank has had one of the best defenses in the universe, and the Twats have had one of the best offenses in the universe, and it's just been that way. The Dicks and Twats, though, I've got to give them the edge here, and there's a few reasons. The biggest being that Dicks and Twats, they beat the Bank already this year. They beat the Bank, and so I think that I got to hold that a little bit against the Bank. But the other thing is just the exceptional quarterbacking of JB Sucks Big Dick, especially with his pairing of the running back, who's not really a running back. He's a receiver. It's Raj is a pussy. And while technically JB Sucks Big Dick didn't break any overall records this year, Raj is a pussy did. Definitely. Most receptions for a running back. Most reception yards for a running back. Most reception touchdowns for a running back. And so that's all because of JB Sucks Big Dick. And I think he's going to be sucking that big dick hard. And the Bank's not going to care about JB sucking big dick. That's not in their Spank Bank. That is like the opposite of the Spank Bank. And I think that's just going to cost them the match there and going to cost me to sleep on the couch. So, and we also got in the second round, we got Overwatch taking on DC Universe. This is a division rivalry that has spanned the whole season, really, and I just got to keep going with DC Universe. They had one of the best offenses in the league this year. They were just immaculate. The Batman on offense, just killing it with Alfred, and on defense, one of my favorite players, Killer Joker, he actually broke the record for most interception yards this season. So I think, and that's for overall. That's the most yards ever for a TFO season. So congratulations to him. It's all flipping awesome, and I think that Overwatch just doesn't have enough in the tank at that point, and DC Universe picks him off. So that means I'm saying the Bad Guy Championship will be contested against the Dixon Twats and the DC Universe. And this is going to be one of the most high-octane powered games of the year because they're both huge offensive juggernauts. And it just really boils down, for me, that the Batman is the best quarterback. That's in this or in division or conference or whatever. So I think, I think JB Sucks Big Dick's a better quarterback. He's got them small passes, and he can just chunk against the universe. That's what I meant. That's what I got to go with. I got to go with the Dixon twats. I really love the offense of getting the running back out there, just having him curl. If you have a huge bomb to throw, you can do it. If not, you can pitch it right to him. And JB Sucks Big Dick, while not the best throwing quarterback in the league, his running this season rivaled that of the Raider All-Stars Jim Plunkett, Hall of Famer Jim Plunkett. Now, JB Sucks Big Dick wasn't able to get over that threshold, but he did help Raj is a pussy get records, and that's got to be something in my book. So I'm going to say the Dicks are the guys, the bad guy champions. All right, so let's drop down to the Mad and get into the Mad Dog division. Conference. Sorry, we have 4 conferences. We have 2 leagues, 4 conferences. So I got to remember that. So, 0 fucks given, gave no fucks this season with Chester George running all kinds of shit on everybody motherfuckers. So yeah, they're the number 1 seeds. And then the number 2 seed was John Bloggs, VGV, the Video Game Vixens. And they're going to taking on, in a real surpriser here, Frank Bloggs' Scalise Fighters. And this is really wild because the Fighters were way back. They were like 2 or 3 games back from the lead. They really put the Jets on at the end there. They surpassed the Great Scots just because of their differential. And it just changes the whole matchup that a week ago, I thought it would have going to be VGV taking on the Great Scots, while, say, the Fighters took on, well, and another surprise here, in the wild card, we have the Great Scots taking on the Beer Gods. And the Beer Gods were the odd man out last week. They had to win and hope both Gears of War and the Wannabe Ballers lost. And that's exactly what happened, and so that's why this is all looking like it is. So, how's it going to go down? Well, in the wild card round, the Beer Gods versus the Great Scots. I got to give it to the Great Scots. As far as I'm concerned, the Scots should have won their division. The Beer Gods, while they have definitely looked impressive and they had made a hell of a comeback, making sure Dave is back in the playoffs. That's really all this was. The Beer Gods, I don't think had a shot here to win. But you know what? The season the Beer Gods did win the championship, the Titan Bowl, I don't think a lot of people looked at them that season and said they're going to win it. You know what I mean? And so you can't count the Beer Gods out, but I got to give it to the Scots. I think this is Travis the Condom Magram's first playoffs. I really love this team. They're a very high-octane passing team, and they got all the tannins on the defense, the Biffs. So, yeah, I'm going with the Scots. So that brings us to the second round. You get the VGV, the Vixens, taking on the Fighters. And man, does John Balog have horrible luck against Frank. But the truth of the matter is VGV is the better team. Frank has a hell of a defense. Frank's gimmicking as he always does. He's getting raw deal cards errated, but he's not going to errata the fact that Video Game Vixens is a hell of a team. John Balog knows what the fuck he's doing. I'm not saying Frank doesn't, but Balog Frank's a previous champ. He won last season. So, you know, I'm not saying that was lucky, because Frank always knows what he's doing, but I can't expect Frank's luck to last much longer against the Vixens. They're a better team, offensively and defensively, and I think John Balog's going to get his redemption here, and he's going to beat the Fighters, he's going to beat Frank, and he's going to get that monkey off his back. And that's the cocaine from the cat. You need to stop that, John. We love you. All right, and that means it's going to be the 0 fucks given taking on the Great Scots, and the 0 fucks given are just going to steamroll just like they always do, right past the Scots. I love the Scots. I think you guys are a great team, but it's going to be about who can score the most points. The Givens don't have a really great defense, and so I know the Scots are going to take advantage of that, but there has been times this season where the Givens defense has been really good. It's just Chester George. Special teams, Chester George. If Chester is healthy, they're going to win, so I have to expect they're going to win, giving it to the Given. And then that makes it the Mad Dog Finals. Video game Vixens taking on the Zero Fucks Given. One could say these are technically the two best teams this season, to be honest with you. But one of them has a player that is exceptional beyond measure. And that's Fuck the Raj. And the Zero Fucks Given are going to ride him. They're going to ride Chester Drawers with all of his Brahma Bull tattoos and everything. And if he goes down and if he gets injured, we have seen Ron Jeremy come in there. We have seen Ron Jeremy come all over the field. And so the Givens, I'm going to give it to him. Blog, I love you, man. You know, I think you have one of the best teams. If you didn't have to play, if you were in any other conference, I would say you'd be in the championship, I think. But the Givens are in your conference, and you're going to have to pay the piper. And I think that's what happens. So Mad Dog champion, I got to go with Rampage here and say it's going to be the Zero Fucks Given. So, and then the last, Bracketology. Mad Max. Oh, it is a wasteland out there, motherfuckers. But this division, this conference, this is a hell of a conference. And so the number one seed all day long, baby. We talking about that Adult Swim. And they broke the record for the most wins for any team in a TFO season with 14 victories. Just wow. Just amazing. They were in the division of the no punt intended, who tied for the most losses ever with 14. So I mean, 2 and 2 equal 4, I guess. But you know, nothing against Al Bundy and how he has just really forces. And Clayton, I hope you can hear. Well, you're on YouTube, so you'll hear this. I'll post this on YouTube. I'll make sure you see it. But you leave a comment, man. We love you. I've been posting your comments on Facebook too, so that people are I'm making sure they know that you may have gotten face gotted, but you're still part of the league, brother. We got you. So, all right. Seeds 2 is the Cosmic Defenders or whatever. Are they the Cosmic Defenders this year? The Galaxy Dimensional Defender. Cosmic Defender is my generic name for all the Defender franchise. But this year they're the Dimensional Defenders. And they're going to be taking on the Vroom of Rooms with the Lambo Calrissian motherfuckers. And then the wild card matchup is going to be the DBZ Squad GT taking on the Space Jammers. So let's go down the list here. The wild card matchup, the DBZ Squad GT take on the Space Jammers. GT has looked phenomenal. They've been in the division with the Swimmers, and they've kept up almost till the end. It could have been anybody's ball game for that division, but it ended up being the Swimmers. Squad GT has a hell of a team, but I got to go with the Jammers here because they have one of the best defenses. Very underrated defense this season, kind of flown under that radar, but they definitely have a great defense. I think they're going to be able to stop Krillin and anything that the DBZ Squad really tries to do. So I think the Jammers going to move on. So and then round 2, we're going to have the Defenders, Dimensional Defenders, taking on the Vroom Vrooms. This is going to be another amazing contest here. Rick Sanchez, greatest quarterback this season, bar none, no doubt about it, 100 billion%. Vroom Vroom's Lambo Calrissian himself. The Lambo was just breaking records, taking names, doing everything that he needed to do. Lambo Hurricane Rana. Let's see here. Best rushing yard average, minimum 50 attempts. Lambo with 18.09. Most rushing touchdowns. Lambo and Chester tied it this season, 58. Most receptions for a running. Oh, that's not Lambo. Most rushing and reception touchdowns for a running back. Lambo Hurricane with 62 touchdowns. Oh yeah, he also had the most rushing yards with 3,961. Those are all new records, not just for this season, for any season. And the worst part is Lambo and Rick, looking at both of them, it hasn't been revealed yet, but looking at both of them, it's obvious one of them has to be the offensive MVP of MAD. And this is the contest we're getting right here. passing versus running. And I just, man, how do you pick? How do you pick? Lambeau's been great this season. But I got to give it to McLeese. He always seems to find a way to sneak in there and get the victory. I believe he beat the Vroom Vrooms as well, so we know he's got the ability to do such. Rick Sanchez has just been amazing, but that hasn't been the only tool on the team here. Jerry Smith this season kicked the most extra points at 81, and that is a new record. But not just that, that just shows you how much scoring these defenders have been doing. Not taking anything away from Vroom Vroom and Hurricane Rana. He is doing amazing, the Lando Calrissian and all that, but no. Chris gonna win that one. And then you've got Al Bundy and the Adult Swimmers taking on the Space Jammers, and the Jammers have such a great defense, but the Swimmers have just almost been impenetrable this season, and so I'm going to give it to the Swimmers. Al Bundy, 5 or more touchdowns in the game. The Jammers' defense going to collapse upon itself. I think Adult Swim, Meatwad celebrates. So that means I think the Mad Max Finals is going to be Chris McLeese taking on Clayton Willis. I think it's going to be the Dimensional Defenders taking on Adult Swim. And, I mean, flip a fucking coin here. But I got to go with Chris McLeese. I got to go with the Dimensional Defenders here. Just because if I'm going with the Defenders to take down the Vroom Vrooms, I got to assume they can do the same against the Swimmers. Rick Sanchez is a once-in-a-lifetime athlete as far as I'm concerned. If he was in the bad, he would be, bar none, without a shadow of a doubt, the offensive MVP. But he is in the same conference, the same league as Chester Drawers and Lando Hurricane. Lando Hurricane. Lambo. And so I think Rick's going to get it done here. I think Rick is going to put Clayton away and seal the deal and become the Mad Max champion. So that means that I would have the bad championship as the TMNT Torturers taking on Dixon Twats. So Andrew Niemergut versus the Mystery Owner. And we know Andrew Niemergut's love of the Mystery Owner. He doesn't love him. So I think that this would be a hell of a feud here. This would be a feud contest for the bad championship. And I'm going with the TMNT Torturers. That's right. I think the Dixon Twats, great team. They could win it all. They could. But I just love the TMNT Torturers, what they've done this season. They've won some big games when they've needed to. They've gotten lucky when they needed to. I think that they can make this happen. This is their season. Niemergut has come close, and I definitely think he's going to win a championship before Balog does, right? So I gotta think Niemergut proves the naysayers wrong, shows the Mystery Owner who's boss, and I think the TMNT Torturers, they are your Bad Bull champions. And so that puts, for the Mad Championship, I would have Zero Fucks Given taking on the Dimensional Defenders. And, oh man, just that match right there. But if he's beating the Vroom Vrooms and he's beating the Swimmers, then he's got the chance, he's got the shot. So I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to say Chris McLeese pulls the impossible. He beats the 3 greatest rushing teams this season in a row and becomes your Mad Champion. So Andrew Niemergut's TMNT Torturers versus the Dimensional Defenders from Chris McLeese for the Terrible Championship. Can Chris become the first ever 2-time TFO champion? He would only be the first or second in TFO history, right? Ryan Anderson's the only one that's been to 2, right? So this would mean that McLeese would do that. He would be there. He'd be in that company. Ryan Anderson. That's hell of a company. And so Chris McLeese, if he could win it, he could do it. But no man has ever won 2. And I really think that it would just be, I'd love to see the TMNT Torturers win it. Because I'd love that feather in Niemergut's cap over Belag. And any of these teams could win it. This is just me spitballing, playing around, giving you guys something to listen to. But I'm telling you that I think the Terra Bowl champion is going to be the Technodrome Bowl champion. And it's going to be the TMNT Torturers. That's just what I'm saying. So, all right, guys. Playoffs. Wild card games start Saturday and Sunday. All the games through here now are going to be Saturday, Sunday games. So don't expect any games during the week. So we'll go from there. Wild card weekend this weekend. And we will see you this playoff season.